Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Pack Podcast. As you can tell, things are going to look different this episode. We got a number of our co-hosts out. Want to send well wishes to Carl, Anastasia, Jeffrey's wife, as well as Jeffrey's daughter, all battling COVID at the moment. Want to send a healthy Pack Podcast well wishes to all of them. We got Forrest out and Case out. So we're hoping to get those guys back as soon as possible. But tonight we're going to have a solo episode with Michael, your host, and we have a very special guest. We have the brand new Dog Pound Championship Wrestling pound for pound champion, Haas Holding. Haas, how you feeling, man?
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
Hey, you survived it, man. Hey, yeah, press for everybody that's going through it, man. It's a tough deal right now. It's out there everywhere. So, man, we all got to be careful and try to stay clean and healthy the best we can. But man, it's no joke.
Well said. It's out there. And, you know, a lot of those guys were at the Lufkin show, Tomahawk Professional Wrestling. We covered that on our socials. That's where we think it could have come from. But who knows? But it is out there. Like you said, we got to stay safe, stay healthy, so we can get back to doing what we love and continue to pursue our love for professional wrestling. So here we are. We are just weeks away from January 29th, the next Dog Pound Championship Wrestling show. And there's so much to talk about that show. But I have to tell you, Haas, you are a guest. You are somebody that we wanted to get on for weeks now, because as many people that have followed Dog Pound know, you won the Dog Pound pound for pound championship, and you won it in a hotly contested battle royal. So I want to start there. Actually, before we get into it, do you have the title with us? Can you show us the title?
Do I got the title? What they say is fat meat greasy. There it is. You know,
there it is.
Of course,
the pound for pound title.
I keep it in the office a lot. You know, that's where I'm at my office tonight. But yeah, I'm here. I kind of keep it right back here. I sleep with it. Well, you know, that title to me, you know, and talking about that belt and that title, number one, it's beautiful, you know, but number two, the meaning behind it. I mean, the creator of that title and what they mean to wrestling comes with such, you know, number one, an honor, you know, to be recognized in that way. And then, but just what they mean, I mean, Rodney and Jazz, I mean, that's their wrestle royalty. I mean, and then the Dog Pound and how it's taken off and here I am with it, you know, and representing them. And boy, it's just a lot of pressure. It's a lot of, but man, I don't think I've ever could have got a bigger honor in wrestling than this. And I probably won't, but I mean, it's just a tremendous honor.
And I believe Jazz was just recognized at Impact Wrestling for everything that she's contributed to professional wrestling. It's truly incredible.
I think that clip was going around. I think everybody watched the clip. I know I shared it and wrote it because, you know, when I showed up to them, I was a defeated guy. I mean, I didn't think I was going to do anything and was ready to lay it low. And, you know, and well, like I say, they picked me up and dusted me off and see what my strengths were and really developed me in that ring. And it's just like, man, now it's on.
Yeah. So let's talk about that lead up to the Battle Royal. So we started months ago. You were in Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. You picked up some huge victories against Nate Nasty. So can you talk about sort of the lead up to that Battle Royal?
Well, you know, and number one, Nate, and I've had a couple of Big Caleb, you know, victories, you know, but also people don't remember an early victory I had against Pac Ortega as well. So, you know, I've been on a roll and yeah, it was, I knew that the odds were going to be, you know, basically I kind of look at myself as an underdog in a sense every time I walk into the ring, because these guys today, man, they're so athletic. They're so well trained, you know, disciplined and all they go through. So yeah, man, I know I've got a fight on my hands. And then when they drew my name first that night, I said, oh man, this, you know, to win this, I'm going to be in this ring 45 minutes and it's going to be crazy. But I was ready for the challenge. You know, I was prepared for the challenge, and Rodney and Jazz made sure of that.
So that's where the night began. You entered that Battle Royal number one, and you had to outlast 30 or so tough competitors. And I remember I was there. I really think it was 45 minutes. It came down to just 4 people in the middle of that ring, 3 people between you and the pound for pound title. Can you sort of take us back to that moment?
Yeah, well, I know that, we were all kind of standing in number one at that point. I only had about 50% of my vision. I was blinded through most of the match, got sprayed very early. And so I was still, every time I would sweat, it would run back down into my eyes. So, and you're constantly sweating in there. So it was constantly, I was fighting that. And then me and Caleb kind of squared off. And I'm going to tell you, those hits that he hit me with hurt so bad. But to be honest with you, my whole body was completely numb between the splashes and the kicks and the hit. I bet you I was punched and kicked 150 times that match. I felt like that my ribs were bruised a little bit, and my whole entire face was just numb. So, so when me and Caleb, and then I was going to bounce off Roseman the clothesline, but he just gave me a double chop across the neck, and man, it knocked me out. And then he really gave me a good kick in the ribs at that point. And so I'm laying there, and then all of a sudden I hear the fans, and he's going out. And I said, I better get back in there. And then here came a midnight special flying over, and then it was me and Stewie, and I couldn't even lift my hands to defend myself at that point. I could not raise my hands. The adrenaline made me raise them later, but that point, the pain I was in with the ribs and everything, and then 2 shots, and then I think he was tired as well, and we both just fell into it, and then he just left that over for me to reverse him. And when he hit the floor and I heard that bell ring, it was the emotion that I expressed that night was as real as anything could ever be. Those tears were not manufactured. They came from a place that started in the early 80s with me. That's where those tears came from.
Yeah. So you're already facing such a disadvantage coming in at number 1, but then for Stewie to come right behind you and spray you in the face with that sort of substance. I mean, that you had to have been like, your chances of winning had to be so low at that point. It's just remarkable.
It was, and then he went to beating on me, and I couldn't see. And so, you're warming up into the match, and I was fighting for my life, and I got lucky with a few shots and got him. And but then, man, he really got to beating on me again. And like I say, I just couldn't really defend myself of a lot of that. But number one, he's very tough and he hits hard. And there's a thing with me about clowns too. And you're supposed to be a big old tough guy, but man, clowns kind of, when I was facing off and I'm looking at this scary clown and I'm going, oh man, I am beat up. This is going to hurt. I am hurting. How's this going to end? And then, then it happens the way it does. But yeah, but he's a tremendous athlete. And Stewie's going to do a lot of big things in this business. That's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you outlast all of your competitors. You're in the ring. The bell sounds. General Manager Aaron Presley comes in with that title. I mean, put it into words. All of your work kind of came into that moment.
I don't think I'll ever put that moment into words. It was, like I say, it was, since the early 80s, an emotion, that just built up. And at times in my life, I didn't think it was, I guess it's always been there. Even when I just pulled away from wrestling altogether and worked and did all these things before I decided to come back, I had no idea. And, there's just not any words I'd ever describe that moment when they made it official. And it will be that's just a memory that there's no words can describe that feeling. There's just no words at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And shortly after you won it, you came out with some words. You put out a statement after winning that championship title. We have a clip in front of the Woodlawn Gym where you really talk about what's next for you. So we're going to take a second here and we're going to play that video. So tell me, we're going to make sure you can hear this.
About 4 years ago.
Can you hear that video, Haas?
I can, man. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. We're going to play this.
I walked up to these front doors from that parking lot right out there. And by the time I got there, I was out of breath. I weighed 345 pounds. I haven't been in shape in years. I've abused myself. I didn't have any dreams, except one. A childhood dream that I never got a chance to live, that I never got a chance to pursue. And I could have turned around that day and I could have went home and forgot about it. Yeah, I was 56, 57, whatever. But I chose to walk through those doors. I chose to chase this dream. And that road has been hard. I have worked hard. I have trained hard. I have been through a lot. I have been through people who don't believe. And I've had people that lift me up that have. Last night at the historic Woodlawn Gym in San Antonio, Texas, 25 men were drawn to compete for this right here. It's the pound for pound, dog pound championship wrestling title. And the first man to walk out of that curtain, the odds were stacked against me, was me. That's been my life. The odds have been stacked against me from day one, and I have conquered. And last night I walked out of that curtain first with all the confidence in the world because I believe in me. And 40 minutes later, 25 of some of the toughest opponents around, I was standing in the middle of the ring, and I was crowned the first ever dog pound, pound for pound champion, the first ever. Now, I'm here at the gym today. Most people be celebrating. Yeah, I celebrate, all right? I celebrated for the last 2 hours in this weight room, in this gym, of where it started. Because January the 29th, at the historic Woodlawn Gym, this title, my title, the dog pound, pound for pound championship title, will be on the line. I don't know who it is. I don't care. I know you'll be more athletic. I know you'll be younger. You'll probably be stronger, and you'll probably be a better wrestler. But let me tell you something. Whoever you are, whoever they bring, the one thing that I have that you might not recognize is this heart right here. And there's nobody in this business with a bigger heart. There's nobody in this business who is going to try harder, fight harder. And I promise you, come January the 29th, I will defend this title.
Well said. And that leads us to January 29th, Mike Dell versus Haas Holding. So just let me get your thoughts on that video.
Well, you know, I was on cloud nine, obviously. And, you know, I do have a strong work ethic, and it takes, and if you want to succeed at anything in life, that's the number one ingredient you got to have. You got to have a work ethic. So, yeah. So, I mean, we have a thing, and I think you see it on our dog pound chat room, you know, on the hunt, Coach Rodney likes to see us training, you know, and I show part of my regiment that I do in my cardio, running on the treadmill. I'll sprint for, you know, 2 minutes as fast as I can. Then I'll fast walk 2 minutes and sprint, you know, to try to help burst and stuff. And I shot part of that video on the hunt. And I know Jazz really, you know, she always makes the comments when you send it in. So, yeah, but you know, that's where I was at the gym, and that's where it all started. I mean, and it's no lie. I mean, I literally walked through those front doors at that gym, and I was 345 pounds, and I got to the door, and I said, man, what am I thinking? This ain't going to happen. And I turned around and I spun around again and walked through there, you know, and it was the best decision I ever did, you know, because that started this dream, the working hard and to advancing through there and to being able to even step into a wrestling ring. And now where I'm at now, yeah, it's been a long road. It's been a 3-year journey to get here. Yeah. And I think I'm just getting started.
Well, it's been a pleasure to watch. And as a wrestling fan, you watch somebody scrap and claw and fight their way to the top. And it's such a well-documented journey. And then you get to the top, and then the real road begins because you have to stay there. And that's where you're at.
that's and you're right. Going back to that video, and I've said it, it's lonely here. Yes, you have friends and we train and but you know what? Everybody wants what you got, especially with Dog Pound and it's, how prestigious this title really is. I mean, it means a lot. And yeah, so I mean, anybody's looking at opportunity to number one, I was, even Rodney said that he was so many people were riding. I mean, okay, so of all these athletes, some of the best wrestlers are coming to the Dog Pound, and this 60-year-old guy won it. I mean, that's kind of a story in itself, but I also look like an easy target. These are some major guys that's wrestled on every night of the week that were wanting a shot at this title, Rodney, they're calling everywhere because, hey, it's an easy, I look like an easy target. I can beat the 60-year-old dude up, So, yeah. So, but I'm here and I'm, usually they think the champion's in favorite, but hey, I'll be the underdog the 29th. There's no doubt about it, against Mikel. So, and I've accepted that fact, but, I mean, the guy's really going to have to beat the crap out of me to keep me down.
So before we get into that match, I have to ask, you train at the Dog Pound Wrestling Dojo. Did you hear chatter after you won that title? Any guys, any comments, anyone,
Well, you could expect a guy like Nasty Nate said, I've got the front row seat. I'll figure it out. I bet you, of course, Caleb, who I do believe one day, and either one of those guys one day will be the pound for pound champion. Everybody's run to the end at time. I think those two guys will be in the front line to take it. So, yeah, I mean, you hear it, but we train together, and there's a certain brotherhood within the training, and but I've got a lot of kudos. Unfortunately, there's some out there that's not happy for me, and that's okay. That's on them. God bless them. But the family that I'm around and the people who I'm around, yes, very, very, very enthusiastic for what they're enjoying this with me. But make no mistake about it, they also want their shot at it. So it's like that. So see how it goes. I'll be ready.
You train, you improve with these guys, but at the end of the day, you have a target on your back. You know that.
Yep. It is, like I say, you ever play King of the Mountain? We have the kids, I think we've all played it, and you fighting up, get to the mountain, you pushing out your friend down, and then you get up there. Now you got 8 or 9 of them wanting to push you down. And, and right now I'm technically the king of the mountain, but I know there's a lot of guys licking their chops. Like I say, my abilities as a professional wrestler will not be nowhere near what most of these guys that are wrestling today is. That's just fact. And I've got to look at my strengths and what I can do, and I've got to make it count. I mean, I'm stronger than your average guy, and I do a lot of, people think this is a gimmick. I promise you, I actually put a lot of work into, this claw thing because it's an easy way out. And if I get it and I lock it in, man, I'm reaching for their brain, I want them to feel it. So, and the hands, there's certain hand things I do every single day, to strengthen his hand. But, I just going to have to be the one thing that I think is going to be hard for anybody to find any tougher than me. Like I say, as tough, good fighters, wrestlers, high flying, but at the end of the day, I can take a lot of abuse, and I know how to keep coming, fighting and reaching. And like I say, I'm not going to be an easy target as much as people think I might be an easy target. I promise you, they're going to have to come with a lot to even think I'm going to stay down, and I just don't see that happening anytime soon. They're going to have to bring something extra to really knock this old outlaw out.
Well, we're now less than 2 weeks away from January 29th. Let's set the stage. Pound for pound championship match, you versus Mikel. Mike recently fought against Rodney Mack in our last show and gave him a good battle. And, come to find out he's earned this opportunity. So can you give us sort of a preview?
Well, and for those who may not know, let me go into a little bit of my story. So I opened up SCW, Southern Championship Wrestling, in 2007, and strictly as a promoter. I was no shape to wrestle, but my health was not even great then, but just as a promoter, because of the story of why I felt like there needed to be some professional promotions out there that could put on a professional wrestling show from start to finish, from the how you entrance, how you present your company, to the professionalism, to lights, camera, the whole thing. And that was a big thing to me. Production, I guess, is what we would call it. And before then, I knew Mike Dell for about a year, back when he had the football gimmick. And so I've known him since 2006. So he came in at SCW, and he probably, I would say, he wrestled more matches in SCW than anybody did. And he was always a champion of some sort. He either had the tag belts, the open division belt, or he had the heavyweight belt. And pretty much for the entire life of the company, and particularly the last year of it, he had this whole Mike Dell Incorporated thing going on. And, it was incredible. And we worked very close together. He was not a very fan favorite of the fans of SCW, but hey, he does whatever he's got to do to win the gold and to keep it. And he did that for most of the life of SCW. So, and even between SCW, which when we closed in 2013 to now, I mean, the man has won titles all over the country. I mean, you think about it. So, he's been the guy pretty much wherever he has went. I know he was a champion at Lions Pride. I mean, big companies with tremendous talent, and Mike Dell done it. So I have all the respect in the world for Mike Dell as a performer, as a wrestler. And, it's going to be very interesting because I know he can do so many things, and I've got to get him grounded, so it's going to be, and he's strong. I mean, he's a good physique. He's very athletic, and his whole, I feel like I say, I've probably seen more matches of Mike Dell's than anybody's too. And, I mean, everybody knows he's got his elbow that he comes off with. And, his whole goal is to beat a guy down to get him there so he can deliver that. And, so I know that. So, obviously I'm going to be fighting against that and trying to and do the things that I feel like I can do to beat him down so I can hit him with something else. So it's going to be an interesting concept. Is he going to want to fight? Is he going to want to wrestle? So because he's very good at all of it. So no doubt my hands will be full. That's to say the least. Like I say, he's tremendous. And I'm looking forward to the challenge. There ain't no doubt about it, and but it's just interesting how our circle has went around, because I know the last day when we were SCW, it was he and I left in the locker room, and I said, man, this has been great, yada, yada, yada. And full circle kind of came around, neither one of us ever thought that this type of thing would happen, somewhat 10 years later, 9 years later, where I would be standing across the ring holding a belt that I earned and him wanting another one of my belts. So that's what it really comes down to.
It has to be noted too, in his matchup with Rodney Mack, that match went outside of the ring. It was incredibly physical. Chairs were even involved outside of the ring. So, and he did not shy away from that. And could that happen in your match? It's yet to be seen, but he showed us just in his first appearance at Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, he immediately came for Rodney Mack, who's a leader in Dog Pound, which told us that he had high aspirations, which leads us to the 29th.
Yeah, he's and that's one thing I don't think people really understand about Mike Dell is just how tough the guy really is. The guy is legitimately, outside wrestling, very tough. I mean, so, and he brings that toughness to wrestling, but he's such a good professional wrestler and all the things he can do in the ring. So many people look at that, but just like you said, I mean, him and Rodney's one of the baddest guys around. And Mike Dell was going toe for toe outside the ring, so yeah. So could it go out there? I mean, it might, I don't know where this fight's going to take us. I really don't. I'm just going to go in there and give it all I got and find a way to win this title and to keep it. If it goes outside, it goes outside.
Mm-hmm. Well said. It's a highly look forward to match. Again, this is our first title in Dog Pound Championship Wrestling history. There's so much at stake here. The very first champion is going to put that title on the line. This match truly is of high magnitude. And on the same night, we're going to see the first ever Dog Pound Championship Wrestling tag team titles crowned on January 29th. Teddy Long will be in the building to make that a reality and to present those titles. And just recently, we've had the bracket announced, the first round bracket of which tag team will be competing against who. I know various tag teams have put out statements in anticipation. Here on the Pack Podcast, we've spoken to the Midnight Blazers, who have high hopes for that tournament. But tell us from your perspective, what do you expect from the tournament?
Well, number one, any of these teams that are in this tournament can legitimately win. I mean, they're all phenomenal tag teams, and this is a heck of a tournament. I mean, you got the OMGs, right? I mean, against the Midnight Blazers. I think that's a tough draw for the Blazers. It's going to be a tough, but don't count them out, man. Those guys are smart. They really know how to work in the ring. I mean, they really can pull some things off, and it might be considered an upset if they win that match, but don't be surprised. I know the Midnight, like you said, you talked to them last week, and they're pretty confident.
I mean, just to add, the Midnight Special made it to the very end at your Battle Royal. I mean, you saw him in action. He's cunning. He's crafty. I mean, some may say he bends the rules, but he's going to make his way to the end. It's going to be a good one.
And that's a good way to describe him as crafty. Yep, he's a crafty character right there. So we'll see. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a great. I tell you, I'm really focusing on my match, obviously, how important it is. But man, as a fan, and I'll always be a wrestling fan, and I don't care what anybody says, a fan. Man, I'm ready to see this tournament. I mean, it is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be. And what makes it so good is because these teams are fighting to represent what I represent. The company of Rodney and Jazz, and what those titles mean to professional wrestling. I mean, and I'll tell you, there was a story written on me by Christopher, and here a few weeks ago, it was a flattering story, and basically it came off one interview, and him followed me and stuff like that. And he said a lot of nice, kind things about it, about me. And I was very moved. Those belts and other requests has come in, and I've laid low. I wanted to work on me some. Unfortunately, I got sick and that got delayed. But but I've laid low with it and really went to work and working on myself and healing up, and but it's fixing to get crazy. But as a fan, man, I'm so excited. I can't believe that I'm sure the Woodlot is going to be packed, because this really is a big, big, big show.
And I'll say from your standpoint too, you have a challenge, because that night is going to be dominated by tag team action. So you're going to have to really, try to stand out in a way with your match in a sea of tag team action.
I am, and the athletes in the tag team. I mean, the Rune Nation, the Russell Twins, the Blazers, the OMGs, Fly Def, and I'm going to tell you my sleeper team, and it's the City Boys. I train with them. They've got something. Them boys are always together. They work together. They eat together. I know they might be the real underdog in this thing, but watch them out. They're doing good things. Porty Boy Rock, and of course, another probably people are looking at there is what's going to be there is the Misfits. They're phenomenal, and they're together too all the time. They're really. These tag teams that are really on here, I mean, these are not just two guys stuck together. I mean, these are teams in this tournament that are really that they represent. They go all over, that are tag teams. That's what makes this tournament great, because they're all legit. Hey, we're brothers, we're tag teams, and they're going. It could have been easy to put some guys, local guys together as a team and let them, but really the Dog Pound really went out and found guys that work around the years as a tag team to make it a very special tournament. And that's what makes it special as well.
Mhm. And even to say that, such a huge figure like Teddy Long will be in the building to crown those tag team champions. Can you just talk about the significance of Teddy Long in the building?
Well, number one, I think that everybody understands what Teddy Long means to wrestling and his knowledge. I've never been in the building with him before, other than I think I probably watched him at a WWE show a long time ago or something. But, for him to be there and I get to sit down and my match to be critiqued by him as well. I mean, to me, I'm really looking forward to that. And like I say, he means a lot to professional wrestling. What he does, Hall of Famer, along with Jazz. I mean, we got a lot going on there. So with her accolades of, the women's champion and the WWE champion. So, there's royalty there, and definitely Taylor Long is big time royalty in the business.
So to put a cap on it, I have to ask, are you ready to make a prediction right now on who wins the first ever Dog Pound Tag Team Championship?
Man, I don't know, man. Okay. I can't. I just can't do it. There's so many good teams. I'm really ready. I was hoping that, there would be some, people, fans, or start putting some brackets together and, playing along with it, maybe have a bracket contest and, whoever guesses right, maybe can win a ticket or something. I don't know, but you look at the teams you got in there. I mean, whoever wins is going to have, because there's so many of them equally as matched. I mean, just like this opening match, the Russell Twins and Run Nation. I mean, how do you even pick that? How do you even pick that? That's going to be a tremendous match right there, getting out of it. So, yeah, so we will see. But, a team's going to have to win 1, 2, 3 matches to wear those tag team belts. So, endurance is going to play a lot into it too. A team that's winning, it's going to have to go through a gauntlet to get there. So, yep, you got to win 3 matches, what it comes down to. So, and I didn't mean no pun intended with the gauntlet. Like I want mine, but you got to walk it. You got to go through a big trail of great tag team professional wrestlers and win it. But yeah, any of these teams can come out and win it. So we'll see. I mean, the Fly Deaf and the City Boys, that's going to be a great match. But all of them got a chance. But there's no way I can predict that. I've got my internal favorite. I'll keep to myself. But but I'm ready. Whoever it is, I'm ready to share that with them, because look, I know whoever does win it, they're going to have a very emotional moment. To being the first Dog Pound Tag Team Champion, it's going to be an emotional thing, and it's going to be something remembered and something that they're going to be able to build on. So it's going to be it's going to be pretty crazy. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. Like I say, I'm really ready to see how this tournament goes down with Teddy Long in the house and him narrating the whole thing. It's just going to be an incredible night. People are really going to enjoy this show. This could be the show of the year, no doubt.
It really could. I mean, the list of champions are growing. You started this, and we're just going to see more championship gold here at Dog Pound. So it's really an exciting time, and I think that tournament is just it's gonna be just a whole night of tag team action. And we have your match, and we also have Rodney Mack going up against Gino Medina. I mean, we have some great singles competition as well.
Yeah, and I know there was actually talk early into it about Gino going for the belt, but I think Rodney wants him, and who knows, maybe the winner of that match might, look for me next on the next show. It's number 1 contender. Who knows what's going to happen with the Dog Pound, but who's saying Rodney don't want to come after me? We kind of made up in Castroville, but who's to say, hey, it's a prestigious belt. And with Gio, we all know Medina, we all know how good he is. That guy's just phenomenal. So, that match can be a freaking main event in anywhere in the country. I mean, you put that in the marquee signs, tell me, man, that's that's big time stuff right there. That's really big time stuff.
We'll also see some women's action. Miranda Gordy, Jasmine Allure. Who's to say that the women's division may receive championship gold this year? I mean, we are starting a big year.
Well, don't you think that you're going to see that with Jazz running that side of it? And, you know, I mean, how long is it going to be before we have a women's champion? And who knows, you know? So I promise you with Jazz there, that's going to be probably sooner than later. And I'm very excited to meet Miranda. I have not met her yet before. And, you know, man, she's really blazing her own trail. Yes, you know, yes, she's the daughter of Terry Gordy. Terry Gordy was, you know, one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers ever, only because just who he was and how tough the guy was, you know. And I try to bring some of Terry Gordy in my matches as well, you know, so because just how phenomenally tough. But she's making her own name and she's doing a great job with it. So I'm very excited to finally meet her in person and watch her work. And Jasmine's, hey, I see Jasmine at training, and she's got big things ahead of her too. So again, you know, another big match, you know, especially if down the line there is a women's title and women start establishing themselves here in the dog pound.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this too, you know, the Pack podcast, we put together our predictions and we do our preview show before the show. And this tag team tournament is just going to make it that much harder because not only are we predicting winners, we're going to be predicting rounds. I mean, we have a bracket that we have to fill in.
Yeah, you know, I'm ready to y'all need to do a big bracket show, and I guess y'all might do that. And man, yeah, I want to tune into that because that's make it a call-in show or something, you know, because that or type in show, however folks do things now on these contraptions. But you know, dadgum, man, that's that would be great. I would love to see that, and I think you would get a lot of viewers.
Yeah, typically I don't have to worry about the brackets until March Madness, but now we have to pull them out early, and it's going to be really hard filling it in.
So who do you think? I mean, you asked me, you put me on the spot. Are you still studying it, you think? Or what do you think?
I'm still studying it. I won't say for sure, but this is what I can say. We've been following for months, and the Misfits have just been on an absolute spree. I mean, they can't lose. They've just been absolute dynamite ever since the beginning. The OMGs, they've made an appearance in Dog Pound. They put up early victories. The Midnight Special, one half of the Midnight Blazers, got this close from your title. I mean, it can't be understated.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Russell Twins. Rune Nation made an appearance in the Battle Royal. We've talked to City Boys actually, and I'm very excited to see them come together as a team. So I'm going to say early, the Misfits and OMGs, I'm going to put them up there. I don't know if they're on opposite sides of the bracket. They could meet in the middle.
They are on the opposite side of the bracket.
Yeah. So I'm going to say it. We'll see if I change before preview show, but tonight I see those two duking it out for the championships.
Yeah. And you can very well be right. Something about the Run Boys though. I'm watching them. I've seen their athleticism firsthand, and I know they're very well trained coming out of Austin. Those you got to watch those. You got to watch those too. Like I say, they're just so talented. So man, it's just like I say, it's hard to pick, but you broke it down great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and even beyond January 29th, I hope to see more of these tag teams in action. Of course, when the champions are crowned, there's going to be title defenses, and there's going to be more chances for guys to step up.
Yeah, I think with this year coming, I think with this show, it's going to really put the Dog Pound on fire. You know, we'll have the pound for pound champion title, the tag team titles, number one, and just the talent that's coming into Dog Pound. You know, I know there's going to be a lot of names coming in. There's going to be more shows expanding. It's going to be, like I say, this is the Dog Pound. I got a feeling it's going to be one of the hottest promotions in the country, and I'm excited it's fixing to take off. What they got going with the Texas Style Wrestling Network and the app and all that stuff, you know. I mean, it's and I'm still trying to catch on. You know, I know you put it on the phone, and I've got to figure out how to type all that stuff in, but I'm going to work on, you know. But it's easy. It's just I'm just not computer friendly, you know. But it's yeah, this is nobody in the state or in the rounds doing anything bigger than what the Dog Pound is doing. That's for sure.
That's a good point to mention. It'll be streaming live on the TSW Plus app and tswplus.com. The first 4 episodes of Dog Pound Championship Wrestling are live on the website and the app, so you can catch up on what you missed. But what also too, what I go back and think about, for anyone that hasn't been live to a Dog Pound show, in the middle of the show, there's normally an intermission. And after you won the Battle Royal, you came out with the title during the intermission. And I just remember the embrace you received by all the fans. And I mean, it just was special.
It was crazy, man. Yeah. And that was me covered in green stuff, and they still hugged me, and pictures, and you know, the you deserve it chance, and the sincerity happy for me, you know. It was and that's what we do this for, you know. We want the fans to have a good time, and to share those memories with us, because without fans, and we've all been to shows where the attendance has been light, they're just not great. It's just, the guys will still go out and work their tails off for those few fans, but it's when you get a packed house the way the Dog Pound brings them in at the Woodlawn, you know, that just creates the energy. And then when that energy releases, and then they're all happy for you and they're hugging, and it's crazy, man. So yeah, so a lot of folks are catching on with the story, so they're getting down with it, man. So we'll, you know, I don't want to disappoint them. You know, I have a lot on my back. You know, I've got to, like I say, there's a big torch I'm carrying, because I sure don't want to let the fans down. You know, they mean everything to wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So again, we're a few weeks away from the big show. We talked about all of the huge action coming ahead. Is there anything you want to say ahead of the match? Do you have any announcements or anything to add?
Well, I do got a small announcement that's kind of breaking here. So a lot of folks know that, you know, me and Rudy Russo are tremendous, beautiful friends, and I love that guy to death. You know, when I needed somebody to stand by me through a few of my darkest early hours when I was making a change to the Dog Pound, he's there. He stood by me. And we talk just about every week, and we talked this week, Friday. I had a long talk, and he's going to give Galactic a break. And so Dog Pound, you know, he's going to come out with Rodney and help and bring so much, but the Dog Pound is going to start running Castroville now.
Wow.
So, yeah. And that was that came straight from the blessing of Rudy Russo, you know, so that was his call. And I talked to Rodney about it. And so, yeah, so man, it's the production that the Dog Pound is going to bring to Castroville and all that now. So we're going to be doing 4 shows out here as of now. We do have our first date. That's going to be March 25th. And that's actually going to be a back-to-back. It will be Castroville on March 25th. And then the Dog Pound will be March 26th at the Woodlawn. So it'll be a big weekend. So yeah, so the other dates that being worked out, and they'll be announced soon. But yeah, so it's that's a good thing. You know, like I say, I think with the production that the Dog Pound is going to bring to Castroville, and to really excite this town, and even more so than what they've been excited. I know there's going to probably be some stars brought in, you know, some of the things that, you know, when I ran the towns in those years, I would love to bring like a Honky Tonk Man, a D'Lo Brown, Lance Cade, you know, Davari, you know, the list goes on of the Bushwhackers, popular guys who really had a lot of success in the business to the towns, because I think in those towns you get these kids and young adults and folks and fans in general close to a superstar, you know, to let them be close to a Honky Tonk Man, to, you know, all the things I've seen him do on TV, or, you know, Lance Cade and D'Lo Brown, you know, and these guys, you know, let them see that. And, you know, it was important to me to try to give that to fans, to give them that big time experience, not because the guys that we don't have when talented, it's just let them see a star too that was a TV star. You know, as we evolve now, you know, I think more and more of the wrestling is more computer generated now than the television. I think that, you know, with a good network, as people are streaming more and doing all that stuff. So however all that works, I'm about to get on the bandwagon with this stuff one of these days. But yeah, man, so that coming to Castroville will be great. And like I say, having Russo there as a part of it, and like I say, he means the world to me. But I think with the dog, and we're also going to be, I've kind of been not put in charge, but I'm going to help expand. Where I am good at is expanding towns, and we'll be announcing some more towns soon that I'm working on, making it right for the dog pound. And we're going to get this thing rolling. I'm going to help them all I can possibly help them. And it's my first, obviously, is to train, to wrestle, to learn, to be coachable. But on the other side of it too, I think there's other to help the dog pound expand. Well, what I know of building towns and setting up towns and stuff like that, that and I've listed some of the towns that they asked me to go after, and they can make the final decision on it. But yeah, so there's the dog pound. Not only that, just the other growth that the dog pound is doing, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, this company is fixing to do amazing things.
Now, it may be early in the process, but is Dog Pound looking at expanding the San Antonio market, or do you foresee towns around San Antonio for now?
It will be towns around San Antonio for now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they've really got, like I say, they've got a good thing going with the Woodlawn Gym. They're filling up that building. Mm-hmm. And if they ever were to change to a different venue in San Antonio, it's because they're going to outgrow the Woodlawn. And, man, we could see that happening. I mean, every show that we've been to, it's been packed. And I promise you, this tag team thing is going to be, it's going to be wall to wall in there. And boy, it makes you proud and happy to be a part of that, to whatever part you are a part of what Dog Pound is doing, and it's tremendous. It's a tremendous atmosphere on a Saturday night at the Woodlawn when the Dog Pound's running. There's nothing like it. And I think Castroville is going to be the same way. And then you're talking about doing a double shots, on Fridays and Saturdays on some of these shows. Mm-hmm. That's going to make for an incredible weekend of wrestling. I mean, you're talking about performing in front of a lot of people, and who says that you do something Friday night and you might have to carry over to Saturday night. I
was going to say, you might be in a position where you have to defend your title 2 nights in a row. I mean, have you?
Well, so it could be, because, I'll be booked that night. Lord willing, I'm the champion. I'll be a fighting champion. I could go around and defend it the 26th of March. And then on the 31st, I make my debut in Fort Worth for Dave Fuller's company. And tremendous guy. That guy, I mean, if there's anybody that's really paid dues in this business, it's Dave Fuller. And man, you need to get him on your show one time. His knowledge and the people that he has rubbed with all these years, it's tremendous. And I know that I was honored by the invite to be a part of his March 31st show at the Ridgely Theater. We ain't announced what it's for, but there's something prestigious that's going to be up for grabs, and I can't wait till I'm just waiting for him to announce it. And so man, that's going to be that week. It's going to be 3 matches. So, and then going into the weekend, I'm getting a lot of calls, and I kind of go through anybody that calls. I go through Rodney and say, what do you think? And, he, and Jazz, of course. And, I know I'm going to be traveling with them to Memphis and all that stuff coming up. So, so we're fitting to get on it. That's for sure.
Very exciting. Do you have any details on that Dallas appearance?
I know it's March 31st. It's at the Ridgely Theater in Fort Worth. For folks that know me, they know I was born and raised in Fort Worth. That, and there's a little town south of there called Maypro, Texas, that I always worked the farms in every summer. And then when I got married, I know, and when I lived there and when I drove to Dallas, when I was going to go to the wrestling school in Maypro, Texas. So I know a lot of my friends up there at Eastern Hills High School that I graduated. We just had our 40-year reunion or something like that. I mean, it's been out of school for a long time. So, but they've already put a big chat room together for it. And I'm probably going to help, 70 to 80 folks will be coming from the towns and up there to watch me that evening. So so I'm really excited about that. And and I know Rodney is excited for me and Jazz is excited for me. So it's going to be another big night, and it's going to be a night that I could be he could be going up there pretty beat up. I've got through 2 stiff matches back to back, Friday and Saturday, and only a few days to heal. And I promise you, 60 years old, it takes a little longer to heal sometimes. So, so it's been kind of nice to have this little bit of downtime to work on me and to work out. I'm battling, some medical issues that, I'm diagnosed with the prostate cancer. It's not bad, but, it's there and I've got to deal with it. But, nothing like that's going to stop me. We're going to, and I don't use it as an excuse or my age as an excuse. I'm just going to do everything I possibly physically can do and represent this company and represent their training and go all the way as far as I can go with it, man. I hope to wrestle till I'm 100, but we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was a huge announcement. I'm still trying to process it here on the Pack podcast. The addition of Rudy Russo, the expansion of Dog Pound to Castroville and other places. It's an exciting time to be a part of the Pack, and we are so excited to see where everything goes.
Oh, but how could you not be excited to where this is going? Because like I say, everybody's laser focused. I mean, Aaron's, he's focused. I mean, this whole company, and just sitting back, watching it as a wrestler, watching these guys, man, they're laser. And so it's easy to get motivated, and behind that, because they are so, and, laser focused and to build and all of us to learn from maybe some of the things that in the past it didn't work. You bubble it up in any business. I mean, I've built companies, here I'm at my office tonight, the things you got to do to make it successful. So, it's, but they are laser focused on what they're doing and it's taking off. Like I say, they're getting requests from all over the company, all over the country on being a part of it, and that's going to make you fight, because we're not guaranteed nothing there. I mean, there's wrestlers, and obviously when companies grow, the talent grows, wrestlers get, we got to keep up with it. I've got to keep up with it, because my spot, just like anybody else's spot, is up for grabs if I don't fight hard to keep it. And so that's instilled into us in training. I mean, coach, he says it. Hey, I love you guys, but we're building a company too. So I'm going to make sure the best is going. And so, yeah, so that's pressure on me too, man, because I'm a part of it. So, but I'll fight hard and stay here as long as possibly can. That's for sure.
So this is where we're headed. January 29th, the first ever Teddy Long Tag Team Tournament Classic. Meet and greet is from 5 to 6 p.m. with a bell time start of 7 p.m. You can catch the action on tswplus.com or the TSW Plus app. You can listen to Nigel Rabbit and myself call the action. It's just going to be such an exciting night. As mentioned, the Tournament Classic, where we will have our first ever tag team champions. The pound for pound champion himself, Haas Holding, will be in action against Mike Dell. We've got some women's division action, and Roddy Mack himself will be in action. So that is what we have coming up, less than 2 weeks away. Haas, is there anything else you would like to add, where people can find you? Any thoughts before the big night?
Yeah, if you, like I say, about on the social media I do is the Facebook. So it's Don Haas Holding. Get on there and we'll be friends on there. If you got any questions, if ask me. I mean, it's this is a great journey, and I'm blessed that I have the ability to do it. And like I say, it's you fans is who I do it for, to entertain you. Make sure you be there on the 29th, guys. I cannot even describe how incredible this show is going to be on the 29th. And, and the best thing that the fans can do, if they have a good time, if they really enjoy the product they're following, is spread the word. That is the best advertisement in wrestling that any of us can have, is spreading the word and bringing a friend and let them and continue to help build this Dog Pound. And we're all a part of it. So, let's all work together and have fun, and let's build it, and let's see how far it goes with it. I think it's going to go an incredibly long way. The Dog Pound is poised to be one of the best promotions in the country. And I think we're going to see that. Time is now for promotions like the Dog Pound to take off. And I think we're fixing to see that.
Mm-hmm. And one last thought before you head into your huge matchup against Mikel, how do you want people to think about your title reign as you move forward?
I want them to respect that I have in fact earned this title. And they haven't seen the long nights I've put in, the gym work I have done. They don't see where I come from. They don't know my work ethic my entire life. I want to be seen as I've won this title on my merit and my toughness, and bringing a style of wrestling back that I think still has a very, very important role in professional wrestling. That's physical and telling a story. I think I am telling a story, to never give up on your dreams, and I said it on your last show that, so many guys, we get busy through life, and our kids' dreams become a part of our mission to help them achieve their dreams. And guys, we were young once, and we coming out of high school, man, my dream is to do that, but life beats the dreams out of you as you age. And then to put this back together and able, now I'm achieving it. I think it's special. I think it's a special time. And so I hope that people will respect that. I hope that I don't disappoint people, that I looked on like I have to still prove that I've earned this title. I won it in a gauntlet match. I outsmarted people. I knew when to stay clear and when to jump in. So, a little wisdom there, but now I'm going against some of the best, and it starts the 29th with Mikel, one of the best in the business. It's going to be a fight. I mean, it's just going to be, I'm going to have to fight with everything I got to keep this title, and and I will do it. I will, whatever it takes. I will fight with every ounce of energy that my heart can push out to keep this belt on the 29th.
Mm-hmm. Well said from the pound for pound champion, Haas Holding. From Michael Moore, this is the Pack Podcast, and that is the beautiful, beautiful pound for pound title. Can we see the sides? Can you show the sides as well? Absolutely gorgeous. It looks better on his shoulder. We will see you in less than 2 weeks at the historic Woodlawn Gym. This is the Pack Podcast, and we'll see you next time.